Hello. I want to talk about something near and dear to me, which is failure. Failure, I think, is something that we so frequently just pretend like it's not a part of success. But the reality is that every failure is part of success. And the more we fail, the more chances we have of succeeding. If you think about it, Alexander Graham Bell failed how many times before he created the telephone? Einstein failed how many times? These amazing creative inventors failed how many times before they did amazing and creative things? Failure is a part of success. And that's why I want to talk about it. I want to demystify it, and I want to bring awareness to the fact that failure is just a part of life and a part of doing business. I recently had a pretty pivotal failure. In October, I sold out my Dragonfly Essentials program, which I renamed the Calm Catalyst in November. And I was so ready to sell out the November cohort. I had transformations from one of my clients, got her first client ever during Dragonfly Essentials. Another one of my clients secured a brick and mortar location that she has been searching for on and off for the last 2 years because she's really mostly been in a freeze state for the last 2 years because of what she experienced before that. And I work with highly sensitive, people-pleasing, neurodivergent entrepreneurs who are overgivers and who are wanting to change the way that they show up and change the way that they do business. Because what we realized, and what I realized when I hit burnout in month 9 of my business, was that the business practices that I had created were not sustainable. And so what I needed to do was really redesign the way that I do business, because when I was showing up with hustle culture and bro marketing and just connecting and talking and providing and giving and just I burned out. It was overstimulating and overwhelming for me. And that was something that I had to realize. And that is why I am a somatic business coach now, because I help highly sensitive, neurodivergent, perfectionistic, overgiving, people-pleasing female entrepreneurs who have spent their entire lives over-delivering, who've spent their entire lives showing up in a way that is double what your average person would show up with. Because many of my clients have learned that they are valued based on what they can contribute. And this is not the case. Back to the transformations. So another one of the clients who's also in my 12-month program has doubled her income, and she did that while in Dragonfly Essentials, the Calm Catalyst. So these are real, tangible, powerful transformations. And I had one client who's been stuck in fight and flight survival mode for decades. And she had an autoimmune flare. And I know that doesn't sound like progress and it doesn't sound like success, but the reality is if you've been living in survival for decades, and this client has been living in survival for decades, when you slow down, when you start to take care of your body, when you start to regulate your nervous system, that's when your body will crash sometimes, because you're telling your body that it's safe to finally calm down. It's safe to finally take a break, and your body just crashes. And that's actually a good thing. That's a win. That's a big nervous system step forward. And she knows this, and I know this. So right there, that's a win. So the tangible results that these clients got were amazing in just 1 month. And so I was so excited to redesign the November cohort and to have this redesigned cohort for all of the clients that joined in November. And I was marketing and I was sharing and I was having colleagues market for me, and nobody registered. Not one person. I thought I had finally cracked the code on group coaching. I thought, this is amazing. I've sold out this group coaching program. I'm going to sell it out every month, month over month, but I'm only going to offer it in October and November. And then I'll take a break for the holiday, right? I'll take December off. And nobody bought any in November. So I sold none. Failure. So this leads me to my point that failures are part of success. Failing forward is how we get traction and make improvements and learn and grow. Failure is part of success. And so what I'm going to do with this is I was originally going to repurpose the filming of the October cohort and publish that as an evergreen course for my clients. But the privacy of my cohort is way more important to me than the ease of producing this evergreen course. So I'm going to refilm the whole thing from scratch. I'm going to start over. I'm going to refilm it from scratch. I'm going to use the content that I created in October. I'm going to modify it with the feedback that I got from that cohort. And I'm going to make an evergreen product so that you can invest in a course that will help you regulate your nervous system in 1 month. And I know it works because I saw the transformation in 4 out of 5 clients. And you know why the 5th client didn't get a transformation? She didn't show up to any sessions. Literally, this stuff works. It's effective. It's amazing. It's really important that for you, as a highly sensitive, neurodivergent female entrepreneurial mind, you learn how your nervous system operates. You learn about your stress response. You learn about the neuroscience of your brain. And one of the other things that I've been talking about recently is the amount of trauma that I see in the neurodivergent population is disproportionate to the rest of the population. Now, it's estimated that about 70% of the population has experienced trauma. Not every person who experiences trauma has PTSD or CPTSD. PTSD is from one traumatic event. You witness a murder, sexual assault, that sort of thing. CPTSD, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder, is what happens when you have repeated traumas, frequently from childhood. So just being neurodivergent makes you more likely to have CPTSD because you have experienced people telling you that you are the problem since you were in diapers. Someone has said you are too much, you are too little, you are too loud, you move too much. Why can't you sit still? Why can't you follow directions? Why don't you respond when someone says your name? What's wrong with you? Why? Failure, mistake. And so this creates an incredible amount of resiliency, but it also creates trauma. I'm getting off on a tangent here. I really wanted to talk about failure. So I would love for you to share with me what your failures have been and what you have learned from failure. Because failure is a part of life. Failure is a part of business. Failure is a stepping stone to success. So if you're not failing, how do you ever expect to succeed? Thanks for being here.